Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of my video for this week. Yesterday I showed you how to make this really simple gatefold card, and we used the art gallery stamp set and the punch party stamp set that's only available for another week through Celebration, and we used this little sentiment from it. And I showed you how to make a card topper which you could use on lots of different cards, and if you are making cards in bulk, start by making these little card toppers and then you can add them to all of your cards. Well, today I'm going to show you something just a little bit different. It has the same base as this gatefold card, but it's called a slide and lock card. And I first saw it being made by Lisa Curcio back in January. And she made a gatefold card, but she instead of making her gatefold card this way, she made it so that she cut her card this way instead. I cut mine across the middle. She cut hers lengthwise, and she made her gatefold go this way. But although I wanted to make this card, I needed it to be a little bit bigger. I didn't want the whole of my topper to be taken up on the card. I wanted to see some of the card at the top and the bottom. So I changed the orientation on mine so that it was the same way as the card I'd made yesterday. And I've already made the basic part of the card. So I've got my piece of card here, and I'm going to hold the long side across the top, and I'm going to score at 2 1/8 at this side and 2 1/8 at this side. But when you make this card, you need just a little bit more wiggle room. So instead of having it lined up exactly on 2 1/8, I'm going to make it slightly smaller. It's going to be more than 2 1/16, but just underneath the 2 1/8 mark. I'm just going to fold it there. So I've scored it there, and I'm going to turn it around and do exactly the same. So I've got it lined up at 2 1/8, and I'm going backwards just a tiny bit, and that gives you just a little bit of room for the locking mechanism. So then you would do exactly the same as we did yesterday. You just fold the sides in, and you've got a little gap down the front. See, let's put a little piece of white in. Okay. Oh, that's too big. Oh, here we go. Let's put this little piece in. You will be able to see a little bit of the white going down through the middle. Okay, so don't worry about that. That's what you need to have. So here's my gatefold ready, and you can see just a little bit of white down and a little bit of where I've already stamped. I used exactly the same pieces as yesterday, but I made a little mistake and I smudged my black ink here. So what I decided to do was to get my little resin hearts out and my Flirty Flamingo pen, and I just coloured in 3 of them, and when they dried I stuck it around the sentiment. So now if anybody looks, they won't see a smudge and they'll think I meant to put that on. So we've got the base ready, we've put the gatefold on and the little piece of embossed basic white, and we embossed it with that Dainty Diamonds. But like I said yesterday, you could emboss, you could use designer series paper, whatever you want. Okay, let me move that one out of the way, and I'll show you how we're going to make this slide-in mechanism. Now, I've got lots of pieces already cut here. And what you need to have are 4 pieces of basic white, and you're going to cut them all to exactly the same size. And if you check on the blog, the sizings will be there, and they are actually cut. Let me see if I can try and remember. They were cut at 2 1/4 by 3 1/2, and on 2 of them, I don't know if you can see, I've already pre-scored them down here. I've pre-scored them halfway along at 1 1/8, and then I'm just going to fold those in. And you can score them on your scoreboard, you can score them on your paper trimmer, whatever works for you. And I'm just going to get my bone folder and go down because we need these to be nice and flat. Okay. And this is going to create like a little mechanism to slide down and lock our gatefold closed. So you need those two pieces, and your other two pieces you're not going to score or anything. You can use tear and tape to stick these together. I just find it's easier to use liquid glue because I don't always get a precision fold, or I don't put the piece on the top exactly square and then it doesn't look so good. So what I'm going to do is I've got these two pieces, these are our hinges, I've got them both the same but with the folded pieces towards each other, and I'm just going to put liquid glue on both. Okay, and then with one of the next pieces I'm going to put it right on the top and match up the left hand side. That hinge part is in the middle, and I'm just going to put this on. And this is when I find it easier to have the wet glue because it means I can just wiggle the card around. If it's not quite level, I know I've got time to move it round. Okay, and then the other one I'm going to put just next to it. So that fold, that hinge is in the middle. I'm just going to butt it up to the piece that's already on there. Okay, so you now have a piece that looks a bit like a picnic table. So you've got the flat piece and then these diagonal folds coming down. I'm just going to go over that again with my bone folder because you do need to have it as flat as you can. Okay, so that's our flat piece there that wasn't folded, and I've turned it over so that I've got the two folded bits left, and I'm going to put glue on the top of there. If you felt like you could get this stuck on perfectly straight away, then tear and tape is really good at holding it too. But I just know that I can't. Okay, so now I've popped that on the top and I'm just pushing it into place and making sure that all my edges are the same. Nothing's sticking out any further than the other one. And then I'm just going to go over it again with my bone folder. And now you have a piece that looks like this. Okay. So it's a cross. You've got two pieces that are tightly folded on the inside. The top and the bottom are not folded, but they do bend. They will bend together. And then this piece is going to go on the front of our card. You fold so that you've got the right hand side gate in that part of the cross and the left hand side there. And that is going to become our sliding mechanism. It will slide, it will slide up and down the card. Okay. Now I know that I'm quite happy with how that fits. A couple of times what I found was if I wasn't exactly happy with it, if I took it out and I turned it over, it seemed to fit better a different way. And I don't know why it does that, but it still slides up and down quite nicely. Now I'm going to turn mine back again. It's easy to put this in. Don't try and do like I did first and try and sort of line this up and get that lined up, and it took a little while. This was just the easiest way that I found to close it up. Okay, now with our topper that we made, this is the piece that I stamped yesterday. And remember I said I liked it much better because it was just a bit darker. And it was still the Flirty Flamingo, the first one I stamped off. Then I stamped the highlights in full strength. And this little insert, the inside of the flower, I did that with the Poppy Parade. So I'm just going to attach this to our Mossy Meadow piece. And don't forget to check my blog because I will put all of the directions on there, all of the sizings. Now I know that this is going to be the top, so I'm just going to put my liquid glue on. turn over my topper, and I'm just going to make sure, just eyeball it, that it looks roughly in the middle. Okay, if it's not quite straight because I've used liquid glue, I can just turn it a little bit. And there we are. Just check that my cross or my X is still nice and bendy there. And then I'm just going to thread it, just fold it in like that. Let's move that up so it's in the middle. Now, if you wanted to add more bling to this, you could. You could add like some little embellishment. You could pop a little ribbon on. If you've got a designer series paper here, if I had a flower like this one on, I would probably choose a more muted background. But if you wanted to use sort of a busier designer series paper, you could always cut out part of that paper to use for the front as well. And then when your card will stand up, whoops, your card will stand up. And then when the recipient gets it, they just slide off the topper, and then they can read the inside. You might need to pop a little post-it note or something just to remind them that they can slide this off in case they're trying to peep through here to do the reading. So, but I love that. I think that's a really nice kind of different way of holding a card closed. Often when we make a gatefold card, you'll use a belly band, a piece of card or ribbon that goes all the way around. But I quite like this little topper. So let's find the original that we made yesterday. So here's our gatefold card. And then with just a little bit more effort and just by making this little slider mechanism, you've changed the look of it, but you've really used only the same pieces. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I would love if you could, and then press that little bell icon and it will tell you every time I upload a new video. So thank you so much for joining me today. Let's pop these with the matching envelopes. And wouldn't that be a nice card to make for Mother's Day as well? Not only birthdays, but you could make it for any occasion just by changing the paper or the embossing and just stamps. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I'll see you all again really soon. Take care. Bye-bye.